Well, howdy. Welcome to the first official video of the Texas Pond Bassmaster. I don't have any sponsors. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Currently have a lot of shorts on there right now, just some different fish that I've caught and released, anywhere from 1 pound to 3 pounders. I am doing this at home on my iPhone, so I don't have all the fancy gear and equipment like some of these other YouTubers do, but it's a start. And so I hope that you like it. Thumbs up, and I hope that you subscribe. I do plan on doing more videos in the future, talking about some of the fishing stuff. And this is just from personal experience. I'm by no means a professional. But today I wanted to talk to you about a Whopper Plopper. My wife kind of laughs when she heard the word Whopper Plopper. And so basically a Whopper Plopper is a topwater lure. It's got a double treble hook on it, and it's got a blade on it that spins. Couple of different styles. Most of them you see the blade in the rear. There is a Guggen revolver where the blade is in the middle of the body of the topwater lure. I've tried that one. It hasn't been successful for me, but my son-in-law does like it, and he has caught several fish on it. The Whopper Plopper that I use for me personally is made by River to Sea. The color is I Know It. It's kind of a bone with some shad, silverish in it. Also has some chartreuse on the side of it. And I've had a lot of success in some of these local ponds around the Austin area on the River to Sea I Know It Whopper Plopper. A Whopper Plopper is different than a popper, okay? So I'm gonna show you right off the bat here. This is the River to Sea Whopper Plopper 90. So this is what it looks like. It's a Whopper Plopper 90. It's got a double treble hook, so you tie your line straight off the front. Now I use braid on mine. You can use braid or fluorocarbon or hybrid. This is one of the problems with these lures, even with the Guggen revolver, is that the rear treble hook sometimes will get hung up on the back propeller or back spinning tail or back spinning blade, if you will. So I'm thinking about changing out that so that doesn't occur. It does happen from time to time when you cast it. So this is the one that's called the I Know It. That's the color. So it's got the kind of shad looking chartreuse and then bone. But this is the River to Sea I Know It 90. They do make a 60. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit fatter. I do not own a 60. I have a 90 and a couple others, and I'm going to show you. But a Whopper Plopper is different than a popper. So this is a popper. This is what a popper looks like. It's a popper lure. It's got the double trebles, but it's got a concave mouth. So as it's sitting on the water and you give it your jerk, it goes bloop, 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 and it pops. And as it pops and makes that bloop sound, it shoots water out the front and kind of sprays it around, and then the bass come up and hit it. So this is what they call a popper. Now this is a Whopper Plopper. So there is a difference, okay? So this right here, as it's going through the water, this back fin or back propeller or blade, whatever you want to call it, spins, and it goes bloop, 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 and it makes like a double trail of bubbles coming off the side, and then it makes the blooping sound or the plopping sound, plop, 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 like that. And it does work. I've had a lot of success on the local ponds, like I said, here in the Austin area on the Whopper Plopper. Different than a popper. But I do work this bait like a popper. So you can just chunk this bait out there, top water, it floats. So it goes over the top of grass and moss and all that. It's not weedless, evidently, because of the double treble hooks. But as you can just steadily reel it in, and it'll be doing its plop, 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 all the way in to however far you can get it before you got to get it out of the water. Like the ponds that I fish usually have a heavy moss line around the edge, so you got to get it up out of the water before you get to that. But I work mine like a popper as well. So I'll throw mine out and I'll give it a jerk, and it'll go plop, plop, plop. And I do it again, plop, 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 plop. Or sometimes I'll do it twice, plop, 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 plop. So change it up, and then I'll steadily reel, plop, 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 and then I'll let it set, plop, 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 plop. So just change it up, and I've had more success on this topwater lure than any other topwater lure that I've tried, and I've tried several, but it's a good lure. So this is the 90. So this one right here is the 110. So it's a little bit bigger than the 90. And I'll show you in comparison. Don't want to get hooked here. So this is the 90, this is the 110. So you can see that they are a little bit different in size, a little bit longer. But it's the same one. It's the I Know It, made river to sea, Whopper Plopper. It's got the rear blade there too. This one as well. You can get that treble hook hung up on that rear propeller. Again, I'm thinking about swapping this out to a little bit smaller one as well. So this is the same principle as it's going through the water. Now this one is a little bit heavier, deeper plopping sound because it is a little bit weighted more and a little bit bigger propeller, so it moves a little bit more water. Now the other one that I have is made by River to Sea, and it's the Whopper Plopper. It's also the I Know It, but it's the 130. So this one is substantially bigger than the 110, and it's also substantially bigger than the 90. Okay. Treble hooks are bigger, a little bit more weight, bigger tail, bigger sound, more water movement, bigger bass. So I've had success on the 90. I've caught 1 pound bass on the 90. I've caught 3 pound bass on the 90. I've caught 1 and 3 pound bass on the 110. And honestly, I have not thrown the 130 that much, maybe once or twice. I haven't had any luck on this one yet, but doesn't mean that it's not gonna come. So that's the 3 River to Sea Whopper Ploppers that I personally use. Again, Whopper Plopper has there's hung up. Whopper Plopper has the spinning propeller, the spinning tail, and then the popping bait is just the top water floats with the concave mouth, and it does the bloop, 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 where this does the plop, 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 plop. I wish I could video for it so you could actually see it in the water, but there's tons of videos out there you can look up. So that's my #1 top water bait, is the Whopper Plopper. I also do throw frogs. I've had a little bit of luck on frogs for top water. I do throw crankbaits. We can talk about those perhaps in the next video. I throw spinner baits. I throw chatter baits. I don't like jigs. I've had no luck on jigs just because of all the moss and the grass in the ponds that I fish. I end up getting it just all hung up and mucked up. But some of the other baits that I like to use and I'll review in other videos is the Strike King Rage Swimmer. That's a good swim bait to use. These are the 4 7/3/4, 4.75 inch, almost 5 inch green pumpkin. Watermelon red, blue black are pretty much your best colors to use. I have used some chartreuse rage craws, and they almost look like they glow in the water. I've had a lot of success on those too, but love swim baits like this. All kinds of brands out there. You pick the brand that you want. I like Strike King. I also do use 6 cent lures, chase baits as well. So you can get the stuff at your Academy, Bass Pro Shop, Tackle Warehouse. There's all kinds of places that you can get your favorite lures. So this is one of my favorite ones, and I'll talk about this one in another video, and I'll also show you how to rig it up using the Texas rig. That's the only rig that I use, is the Texas rig. This one right here is another bait that I like. It's the Big Bite Baits Tour Series. It's the Kamikaze Swim On. So it's a creature. So let me take one out here for you. This is another one that I like. You can Texas rig it. Almost looks like a crawl. and it's got some ridges here. It's got a little bit of tail, so you get some action through the water on that. They're not that heavy, so you do need to add a little bit of weight on your line, tungsten slide weight on that as well. Another bait that I like to use is Zoom, the Zoom worms, and I really like to use worms, the curly tail worms. So this is the green pumpkin magic. So it's kind of green pumpkin. It's got some sparkles and some black pepper in it. It's a curly tail worm. This one is 10.5 inches long. So you Texas rig this up and just drag it along the bottom, drag it across the top of your moss. They work very well on top of moss, just like a frog. So we can talk about those on another video. Here's another one, Strike King, what they call the Rage Tail. If I get the package open here. It's called the Rage Tail. I really like this worm as well. So this has got a little bit different tail on it. So you actually take this little piece off, and then it's got like a cup tail, and it spins and swims as you drag it along the bottom. You can steady reel it depending on the speed, higher or lower depending on your weight, higher or lower as well. So that's a good worm to use. Again, green pumpkin, or no, that one was watermelon red. I'm sorry. And then I've caught more bass on this worm than anything else. So I've been bass fishing for just a little over a year. I started bass fishing Memorial Day last year. Memorial Day this year, I had landed 270 bass. So I caught 270 bass in 1 year. That was mainly weekend fishing because I traveled during the week all over the state of Texas for work. So weekend fishing for a year, I landed 270 bass in 1 year. And since Memorial Day, I had 270 on Memorial Day. Right now, I'm sitting at around 320 bass that I caught since Memorial Day last year. So this one right here is called a lunker log. It's sort of like the Yamamoto Cinco worm. Guggen calls it a lunker log. It's heavy. You don't need a weight to chunk this bad boy. Texas rig it. It's very salty. But the green pumpkin lunker log by Guggen, I've caught probably 80% of my bass, 80% of the 270 bass that I caught in the year were caught on a green pumpkin lunker log. And then the last bait I want to show you here is a Yamamoto, and this is the 7-inch Speed Cinco. So it's also got a tail here, and so you just undo the tail like that. So then you get that spinning action on the tail as you're retrieving it. It's fairly weighted. This one is green pumpkin magic as well, so it's green pumpkin with flakes in it. It's another good worm to use. So that wraps it up. That's my first official video. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something, especially about the Whopper Plopper. That's what it was mainly about. But I just kind of wanted to show you some of the other baits that I like and I use, and we'll talk more about those in another video. Again, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time on the Texas Pond Bass Master. Get out there, go fishing, tight lines, and we'll catch you later.